right, I'll call the March planning board meeting to order. I'd like to welcome all those in attendance. We've got Jordan has texted me, let me know she's sick. She let Colleen know as well. And Patrick's not gonna be here due to his daughter's accident yesterday. So at this time, we would call Josh and LaRue to serve. Also would ask a motion to approve the absences for Jordan and Patrick. All right, we got a motion, we got a second. All those in favor of excusing the absence by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? There are none. All right. If everyone want to take a look at the minutes, I didn't get the chance to look at them until this morning. I found where I had made a statement about the non-conforming issues. Felt like that needed to be reworded to line up with what I said in the meeting, so I went back and listened to the video. And I sent out a copy, Sheila, and I can send you the Word doc if you want me to. That may be well, I may have sent the Word document, but.
I see where you added something.
So, if everybody will take a look, and then I'll go through what.
Well, Sheila, you left me off up here that attended that meeting.
I know, I went back and corrected that, it's not on y'all's copy though, I noticed it when I was going back over it again myself.
Okay.
I just didn't waste paper and reprint it, sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
That was your waste of paper, but you know what I'm saying.
So while everybody's reading I'll just point out the part that I read that I felt like I wanted to see change was where it says, Chairman Edwards stated that, it should say, there are several non-conforming issues, and then it went on to say the Royalty Club and the residents of the Royalty Club and the resident adjacent to the Royalty Club were located prior to town of Omar incorporating. There being no buffer yard between the Royalty Club and the residents is a non-conforming use, which is grandfathered in. There are a lot of grandfathered non-conforming issues in the town, and we're not going to penalize people when the town adopts a new ordinance and requires them to meet that ordinance. And I should have added there are, and I spelled town wrong, so they're the items that I saw, and then we're gonna add Iva to the list of.
She's already added.
Okay. Anybody else see anything?
I make a motion, we accept the minutes as written, with the changes added.
All right, we have a motion to accept the minutes as written with those changes. Do I have a second?
A second.
Alright, we have a second. Any further discussion? Alright, all those in favor of the
Aye.
minutes? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? There are none. Alright. Alright, next item is public comment. We don't have anyone, with us tonight for public comment, so we'll move on to correspondence. Sheila, do you have any correspondence for us?
No, sir, I don't have any.
Alright. Alright, we'll move into our review of our ordinance. Kind of pick up where with some of the questions that we had last time. We'll start with the town code. I did some research about, the speed restrictions and, who governs that. And I took an excerpt from our ordinance. Also, we looked at that section where it was kind of giving the speed limits along. So I took the time to ride around Momar and kind of map that out, and I even checked the mileage to see if that was right. But I did come up with some things I feel like we needed to add verbiage or language that would make it easier to understand what we're talking about. So we'll start out looking at the general statute. I pulled that out. We were talking about how who sets the speed limit through here. We don't have a 35 zone, we got a 45 zone, but general statute 20-141 B1 reads 35 miles per hour inside municipal corporate limits for all vehicles. But then if you go down and look at D2, it says whenever the Department of Transportation determines on the basis of an engineering and traffic investigation that a higher maximum speed than those set forth in subsection D is reasonable and safe under conditions found to exist upon any part of the highway designated as part of the interstate highway system or any part of a controlled access highway, either inside or outside the corporate limits of a municipality, the Department of Transportation shall determine and declare a reasonable and safe speed set pursuant to this subsection may not exceed 70 miles per hour. So that's why we got a 45 miles an hour zone through here, is because DOT set that based off of a engineering study.
So last time we had mentioned removing it. Do you think we should leave it in there? I mean, it sounds like the general statute covers it, so do we need it in there? I'm worried that if the DOT decides to change its speed limit, now the ordinance is wrong.
Yeah, that is, but it does reference the general statute.
I had it in my notes that that might be something to talk with Josh about.
Yeah, and I didn't. I dug up the general statute, and then I didn't go any further from that. I can still touch base with him.
I don't think it's wrong either way. I mean, if it stays in there, it
Let
stays in
me
there. If
do
it comes out, it
this.
comes out.
And are you keeping notes?
Yeah.
If you would do this, keep the note and put an action item for me to reach out to Joshua Hollis about do we have to have anything related to the speed limit in our ordinance. if we do keep it, I did, like I said, I went through the town and measured those, and it was hard to understand. It really was, and that's why I added the red, because it kind of made it a little bit clearer where we were talking about and going from. So if we do decide to keep it, we can come back and address that verbiage or that language in there. I might have my note here. Missed one item up there at the top. We discussed about the fire service contract. That's something that the town council would have to discuss about and contact the fire department about, getting a new contract related to however it was set up before. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but, I say for right now, we leave that in, and, once we get this ordinance completely gone through and changes, we're gonna present it to the, town council. They'll review it. If there's things they won't change, it'll come back to us. We'll discuss it again, adjust it, and then once they're final, I remember from last time, once it'll have to go to the town attorney, and they'll review it to see if there's any legal or statutory things that we're not meeting. Alright, moving to the next item. Next item was disposal of abandoned and derelict vehicles. We were talking about it 30 days. So I went and pulled the general statutes. Find that real quick. That section 304.2, it referenced the 44A4. So I pulled that up so we can look at what that said, but it talks about the enforcement. So once a vehicle is picked up and towed and stored, once the 30 days is up, it says right here, well, I'll read it, enforcement by sale. If the charges for which the lien is claimed under this article remain unpaid or unsatisfied for 30 days, or in the case of towing and storage charges on a motor vehicle, 10 days following the maturity of the obligation to pay any such charges, the liener may enforce the lien by public or private sale as provided in this section. The liener may bring an action on the debt in any court or competent jurisdiction at any time following maturity of the obligation. So, should we, I think the discussion was, well, it was unclear about the 30 days. I went in and kind of put in red, should we add 10 days after the lien becomes due? What are your thoughts? Everybody's thoughts on that? Any thoughts on that, Joe?
I'm trying to remember, I remember us discussing it, but I'm trying to remember where.
What context?
Yeah, I've got it in my notes. I guess it was the rough draft.
It says you had 30 days was removed, but it's unclear if there is still 30 days and were those days outlined in the statute. Proposed language states provided in this section.
Okay, that's it. So this is page 20 of the town code. This is that Excel document they sent us that had the proposed changes.
Let me pull that up. Got that somewhere.
The Momeyer statutory log is what the file's called. And they said, okay, I see that. So he said the citation is current but incomplete. And the current language, existing text is that after holding an abandoned motor vehicle for 30 days, after the day the vehicle is removed, the town may sell or dispose. And then he proposed adding a reference to the general statute, but remove the 30 days. So he wanted to remove the 30 days from the existing code. And that's what posed my question, like, does the 30 days still exist? And is captured by the general statute now, or like how many days do they have?
I think that's what he's saying.
So he's saying that it's
I'm
captured by.
thinking he's saying it's
Okay.
captured by the statute, I mean, that's my opinion, I don't.
Yeah, and what you have here seems to support that. 44A.4, is that what? Yeah, that's right there. Okay, yeah, that solves that problem.
So let me look. So he's saying we need to add this?
He's saying we need to add, after holding an abandoned or derelict vehicle for the period required by this section. Oh, that was the other thing that was confusing me. Okay, I remember now. Okay, his proposed language was that after holding the vehicle for the period of time required by this section, but then he had removed the period of time in that section, right? He had removed 30 days from the town code, but then it referenced the time required by this section, so well, what is the period required by this section? If you remove it, you're removing the time required by this section. Does this section refer to the section of the general statute or the section of the town code? That's what I was confused about.
Well, he's got a general statute. Well, he does list down below a private towing. So he does have the general statute 44A or.
Yeah, I see that now.
And I did print out the 160A 303.2 would be, let's see.
Yeah, I'm okay, Brian, I'm okay with that. It's in the statute, that's fine. I think it's clear. If they don't know the time period required, then they can look for the general statute that says it.
So we would basically adopt what he's recommending.
Yeah.
And we would replace item number 1 with what he's got listed on this Excel, including the information about the towing.
Yeah.
Alright, is everybody, if you need time to look it over, if this one is really hard to read.
Yeah.
I can read it better with the glasses off.
That's why I bring my computer. I
Yeah,
can zoom in.
I can read it.
It's the very last item on that document. That was the one we're talking about.
So everybody's good with, adopting what Joshua Hollis recommends to replace item number 1 of 304.2, disposal of abandoned or derelict motor vehicles in our ordinance. Everybody good with that?
Brian, what is the definitions of words and phrases? Did you want to discuss that?
Let me see, there was a reason why I pulled that. I may have pulled it because it was referenced in some of those sections.
Oh, it defines abandoned vehicle and derelict vehicle. I see.
So I'll ask Josh Hollis, do we need to include that? Let me add myself a note. This place the sheet somewhere. Alright, I'm gonna shift over to, but before we move on, did anybody else have anything else in the town code that they saw that we needed to address? Just look at my tabs here. I didn't have anything else in the town code. Anybody else have anything that they saw in the town code we needed to review? Alright, we'll move over to the ordinance. Alright, Sheila got us, a current map. Everybody gotta take a look at the maps. This is a current one that shows our downtown commercial zone that we have. Also attached is Sheila had already given us like it was Article 9 of the county Unified Development Ordinance. She also got us a copy of the national, their zoning districts, the county zoning districts. I went out and pulled the city of Wilson so we could, have three different to look at. So currently, right now, we have in our ordinance, well, on the map, we have a downtown commercial zone. If you look in our ordinance, we don't have that type of district. So one, tonight we need to come up with what we would want our downtown commercial district, how we would want it to read. So we do have a neighborhood business district. Now I'll read what our neighborhood business district reads, and then we'll take a look at the counties, the town of Nashville's, and the city of Wilson's. Look at page 13 of our ordinance. We have a neighborhood business district, and I'll read that. It reads, the C neighborhood business district is established to promote a limited range of retail, office, and service-oriented uses, and to promote commercial development separate from residential development as the primary shopping and service areas of the town. The C district is typically located with access to the main streets within the community, and to discourage any land uses, particularly more intensive uses, which would be detrimental to the character and purpose of this district. This district is intended to be located in compact areas or fairly uniform dimensions as opposed to stripped out along roads and areas where there are no intersecting streets. So I guess the question is, let's look at what the county's got, and then we'll decide, do we need to take and keep the neighborhood district and rename it to downtown commercial, or do we adopt something like the county or the town of Nashville? So if we look at on the counties, it starts on page 9-3. and they have a rural commercial district. This is how that reads. The RC Rural Commercial District is primarily intended to accommodate limited retail, office, service, and medium-density residential uses. The RC district is typically located in the intersection area of rural roads, is intended to provide moderate intensity shopping and services. And then their general commercial district is the GC. General commercial district is primarily intended to accommodate a wide range of retail service, office, and high-density residential area uses. The GC district is typically located with access to major thoroughfares and urban services. The GC district is intended to accommodate intensive commercial uses such as shopping centers, strip centers, and business parks, as well as freestanding highway-oriented business establishments. So that's the counties.
That was Nash,
This is Nash County.
Nash County.
Yeah, that's Nash County, and then let's see what the town of Nashville has for their commercial district.
A lot.
Well, they call theirs a general business district. The B1 district is defined as certain commercial areas which provide a wide selection of convenience and comparison shopping outlets, furniture showrooms, and for personal services in an orderly arrangement, retail facilities, parking, and other amenities. This district is customarily located at the intersection of one or more highways or along thoroughfares. This district may also provide retailing and personal services for the benefit of residents in nearby areas and non-residents, including also are certain functions such as warehousing that are compatible with the primary uses. And they got central business district. The B2 district is defined as certain land structures that provide personal services, retailing, some high-density dwellings, and business services of all kinds for local and regional commerce. The area is located in the central business district of the town where major streets and highways converge. The regulations are designed to permit a concentrated development or permitted facilities and to protect the district from over-intensive development and congestion. So that's the town of Nashville, and then Wilson's they have a general commercial. The general commercial district is generally located on thoroughfares and provides opportunities for the provision of offices, services, and retail goods in proximity to generally auto-dependent suburban neighborhoods. Regulations for this district are intended to accommodate the predominantly auto-oriented pattern of existing development while encouraging the transition to pedestrian-friendly mixed-use areas that avoid strip commercial development. And then Wilson also has a highway commercial. The highway commercial district is generally located on the major thoroughfares in the community and provides opportunities for the provision of offices, services, and retail goods. The regulations for this district are intended to accommodate the predominantly auto-oriented pattern of existing development until such time that transportation network is retrofitted to accommodate more urban development patterns. So I feel like this neighborhood business district, we also had the rural business district, but I believe the rural business district we developed for outside the town limits. I know we did a land use plan. I think at that time we were looking at if we were to grow to have, and something would come to the intersection here at the west end of town, that rural business district would be the district that would work for that. I somehow think this neighborhood business district is actually our downtown commercial.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I have in my notes from last time that one of the major problems is we have, like, where Bass Bros was and the fire department lot that are C downtown, like that is our actual designation, which is not even present in our ordinance.
Right.
So like, is our C downtown the C neighborhood?
I'm thinking our C neighborhood district really should have been our C downtown commercial, to match our map, and I'm not sure where we went astray with those two not matching. But after reading the counties, the Nashvilles and Wilsons,
I like the designation of rural commercial and general commercial. I think that's, because you're talking about having like one type of commercial code for proper city limits, and then another one for like ETJ just outside of the.
and it could be that we keep neighborhood business district and we fix our map.
The neighborhood, like the designation as neighborhood is confusing to me.
Yeah.
What do you mean neighborhood? Seems to imply it's in like a development, like a business in a development or something. I don't know. The neighborhood's confusing to me.
Well, it makes me think of, you got a subdivision, and within that subdivision, you've got some retail stores that support those.
So I mean, could we just change the neighborhood business district to downtown business district and have a downtown business district and a rural business district? That seems to solve the problem.
Yeah, that's
Especially since we already have those lots designated
right.
as downtown.
Well,
It kind of follows the same thing as the first.
Right, and
that you went over.
I feel like that whatever we list in here, I guess we need to have the map, our map match it, instead of saying, if we change this to C, downtown business district, I feel like we need to fix the map to say downtown business district. I'd have to ask Joshua Hollis about that. You have to have them coincide, what you have in your ordinance, I feel like you gotta make it match what's on the map.
But I think that's what the map already has though, right? That, like, isn't the Bass Bros lot and the fire department, that's what it is listed in the
The county?
in the county, it's listed as C,
Mhm.
right?
Downtown commercial.
See downtown.
It's listed in
It's not the
county.
exact language, but
Okay,
it's a lot closer than neighborhood.
okay, so it's listed as a downtown business?
Yeah, it's listed as C-downtown. I can't open PowerPoint, or I can't open the PDF document because I decided to install updates at this very moment. But I could pull up the GIS real quick.
last time we talked about this, I wrote my note, change, we needed to, I wrote change to downtown, business district, but that was just, you know, me feeling like that needed to, we didn't have an up-to-date map at the time, so I wanted to hold off. You still looking?
Yeah, it says. Okay, it says it is C dash commercial. It says the property classification is C dash commercial. That helps with that.
You talking about on the county's website?
Yeah, on the GIS.
Yeah, it says C commercial, when you go to the map, though, it has it there, C downtown commercial, is what it says. I mean, I got this off the county. The map that you got,
Okay.
I got that off the GS, off the GIS.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see the red now. Yeah, yeah.
I meant to look in the map, my old map I got in my notebook at home, but I didn't.
My only thing is, and it's just my opinion, but we don't really have a downtown in that matter. We're not Nashville, we're not, you know, we're not Spring Hope. We don't really have a downtown commercial area. Does that make sense?
Yeah, downtown's a mile. With no
I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, well, it's
Good
spread
point.
out, I mean, look at the map, I'm
Good
just
point.
saying, look at the map, okay, you got a downtown commercial area where Marshall's is, you have a downtown commercial area where the fire department is, then you come have another downtown commercial area where Bass Brothers was. I mean, I just. I mean, just like the county has rural commercial district. In general, like Brown was reading general commercial district.
So we could change it, I mean, that's.
I mean, you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
We could go,
There
we
is no downtown.
could look at general, name it general
Yeah, that's the good.
business
Yeah,
district.
general and rural. Yes.
I mean, you don't have to do it, I'm just making a suggestion, because we don't have a downtown area.
Got a main drag.
I mean, that's what I mean, I mean,
The
we have a
strip.
strip, yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, I'm not picking, I'm
Finally
just
got this
saying.
thing to load, but yeah, it is listed as C dash downtown commercial in the map, like the map provided from Josh,
Okay.
which is saying once you download it, it's listed as C dash downtown commercial, and then there we have a residential. Where's the other one we have? Rural business C-E, but do we even have anything?
We don't even have
Yeah,
we don't even have that anywhere in the town of Momar.
so everything we currently have in commercial would be general commercial.
Yeah.
But I mean, the rural commercial is, I mean, it specifically says that's for the ETJ. It says
Right,
in the
it
ordinance.
does, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't,
What, the CE, is that what you're talking about?
yes,
Right.
ma'am, the C, yeah, that's right. C.
And I know where that came from because we discussed like future, the crossroads down there. If, yes, somebody bought the land and put a service station there, or, you know, just whether that'll happen or not, but that was the idea, being at that intersection, and it's in the ETJ.
Yeah, I like your idea. I like it a lot, just having a,
Well, I'm gonna
General
say this
business
too, as
district.
far as where we said that was just for the ETJ. I talked with Shane at Town Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
and I talked with Adam a little bit, not a whole lot. But Shane was telling me that as far as they're concerned, there's no difference between town rules and ETJ rules. They're one set of rules for both, one and the same for both sides. They don't have like, Jordan has suggested possibly having one set of rules for the ETJ and one set of rules for the town, but he said that's.
Yeah, that was about the storage containers. I
He
remember
did say
talking
like,
about that.
yeah, but he was saying, you know, any of it, they don't differentiate.
Mhm.
The town and ETJ are treated the same. He said where he does the planning stuff in Bailey, he did say that occasionally they will be a little more lax in Bailey for the ETJ. But that is normally left up to the discretion of the zoning administrator, if they're lax on them. But I was just pointing out, he says they don't differentiate between town and ETJ, it's one and the same. That was the only point I was trying to make.
So, how's everybody feel about changing it from C, neighborhood business district, to C, general business district? Like, everybody in agreement with that?
Yeah, I like that.
Are you gonna put it as commercial district or business district?
Well, maybe that's something I asked Josh Hollis.
But, because that goes back to the map matching the
Yeah, I'll
book, you see what I'm saying?
well, I'll call him and ask him about if we change our districts.
That was what I was just, it still won't match, you see what I'm saying?
I know it won't matter. We would have to change the map to match we would have to change the C down to commercial to be, C, general commercial.
Alright, how about this? Business is a broad term for the organization creating products and services, but the term commercial is a subset of businesses that focus on the trade, buying and selling of goods to make money. There you go. So like if we're trying to decide whether we would designate it as a business or as a commercial, we have to decide if we want it to be like a more broad business for organizing and creating products and services, or one that's specifically geared towards buying and selling and making money. Like in other words, a business is something like a manufacturing company, marketing company, whereas a commercial would be something like retail store, yeah. So business, the term business is a broader term that would cover more, like banking.
Areas.
Banking is business.
Like a lawyer's office or
Yeah,
a
exactly.
dentist office or.
Yeah, or like, I mean, you use the example banking. Banking's business. They're not buying and selling goods, but
Right.
like if we wanted to put a bank in Momire, then technically it wouldn't really fit into a commercial. It would be more in line with a business, not commercial.
Well, if you're the OI office and institutional district.
Oh yeah, okay, I guess that would work for bank too.
Yeah.
Back up where's.
Areas of office professional services.
Yeah, so professional would be like attorney. So for our O and I office and institutional, it says O and I office and institutional district is primarily established to provide areas of office space for professional services and for certain institutional functions, usually low to medium density, that are capable with each other, compatible with each other, and do not distract from nearby residential uses. The regulations are designed to permit development that would typically be incompatible if located adjacent to each other, such as commercial areas and predominantly single-family residential areas. So,
Yeah, I mean maybe it's a good idea to get his feedback on whether we switch them both to commercial or keep them both as business.
okay,
but like the overall, it would be either
It would be
have a
either,
general business district and a rural business district, or have a general commercial district and a rural commercial district.
so. Alright, alright, so I'll ask Joshua about the commercial versus business, and then also we'll talk to him about whatever we go with. I'm confident the map and the ordinance need to match. But I'll discuss that with him. Alright, so let's see what's next. Alright, before we move on, is everybody good with what we're gonna kind of table it until I get with Josh, and I'll bring that back next time. Next thing we're gonna discuss is, adding a light industrial district, to the town of Monroe's current ordinance. So we've got the counties, we've got the town of Nashville, and then we got the Wilson. I did talk to, Adam Tyson, with the county planning department. I discussed the difference between commercial and light industrial. And he sent me an email, but this was after I had got done with everything. But the example he used, because we were talking about, that's a contractor, an excavation contractor. So what he said is that, being that they're a contractor's gonna have equipment in their yard, sitting in their yard, that they would not put that type of business, which is a special contractor trade, they wouldn't put them in a commercial district, because they can't store, they're not gonna be able to store all that equipment inside of a building. But one of the examples he gave, he said, now if you got a plumbing supply business, they can put all their stuff in a warehouse. Something like that would go into a commercial district. But he said, an excavation company, they would put that in a light industrial, because they would be storing that equipment outside, and you wouldn't want that in a commercial district. And he also said that fencing and buffer would play in a role to, you would set some development standards. If somebody come to town and say, hey, this is what we're gonna do, then you say, okay, well, you gotta put up a 6-foot privacy fence, or you gotta put up a row of trees to, block it. So, and then I emailed him later on, and he emailed me back. Let me read over what I had asked him. So what I asked him was, after I had talked to him about the special trade I wanted to see what they had in their development standards, or their permitted uses, and I'll let everybody see this. I'll send this out to the back, but I'll read his email. It says, Nash County's UDO does not include development standards that apply specifically to the land use contractor's special trade. However, I've attached a relevant page excerpted from the UDO's table of permitted uses, and I have highlighted the 4 contractor land use categories. Each row has a P in the column on the zoning districts in which it is permitted land use. And it's got the abbreviations, RC's rural commercial, GC general commercial, LI's light industrial, GI's general industrial, planned industrial. So I'll pass this around and let everybody take a look at it.
You want me to make him a copy?
You can.
I've got one. I got it on the computer. I don't.
I'll get out.
Did I email this to you? Did I email it?
Open it up, I see it, I saw a chart in it.
You emailed it 12 hours ago.
Yeah, there was a chart.
I did not realize
Is
that.
that it right there?
I
Yeah.
think so.
I can't remember if I sent it.
You forwarded his email,
Okay, alright.
and yeah, it's attached to the bottom.
I've looked at so much.
But like, I didn't, okay, so I mean, all of these make sense, rural, I mean, it's kind of discussion we just had, rural commercial and general commercial. And we just have industrial, but they have a further breakdown of light and
So-
general.
So
What is
let-
planned industrial? What, that seems.
I get. That would be more like an
Yeah.
industrial park.
Yeah, I guess so.
But let's so let's look at what our ordinance. So we have an industrial district. It says the I industrial district is intended to accommodate those light industrial, wholesale, warehouse, and other uses that by their nature have little to no adverse impact on adjoining properties and surrounding areas, specifically when sufficient landscape buffering is provided. These uses will minimize outside storage.
Yeah, so our industrial is their light industrial,
Right, pretty much.
and we don't have anything.
Now,
bigger than that.
theirs doesn't say, it doesn't have the part about these uses will minimize outside storage. The county says the LI light industrial district is primarily intended to accommodate limited manufacturing, warehousing, wholesaling, and related commercial and service activities which have little or no adverse impact upon adjoining properties. Ours adds the sufficient landscape buffering, but it also has, these uses will minimize outside storage.
I mean, I'm not so sure that the industrial properties we have right now would be considered light industrial. I mean, it's what the propane company and
Yeah.
the wood,
The wood chipping,
yeah, those
well,
are,
not wood chipping, but the,
I got you, the wood processing.
yeah,
place.
they sell the logs
Yeah.
for,
Yeah, I don't think those, I'm not even sure.
They're
those-
not in the town like the whisper chip is just in the
Yeah, the ETJ,
NTJ.
yeah. But I'm saying like, right now they're industrial, but if you read the description of industrial,
it's really like a light industrial with
yeah,
an added.
have little or no adverse impact on adjoining properties and surrounding areas.
I mean, that minimize outside storage, I mean, everything the log place does is outside.
And the propane company.
Propane's out, yeah. And then if we do change that down there, he's got outside storage of his equipment,
Mhm. Yeah.
so.
So I mean, going back, zoom out. What prompted this discussion is we were trying to decide whether we wanted to add light industrial, is that right?
Well, the discussion came up was, do we change, right now that property down there is zoned, commercial.
Yeah,
That's the part at the highway. The part that they've just cleared, that is,
RA.
RA,
Yeah,
residential
Or R2.
agriculture.
is it already?
No, it's RA.
Okay.
It's that, Heavy block.
The R2 is those two little lots that was
Oh,
dead
yeah,
roads
yeah, I got you.
that he bought.
I got you.
And
Yeah, I
that
thought you- I thought that's
Marshall
what you're
bought,
talking
and he was gonna make it,
Mhm.
whatever, I don't know what he's gonna do with it. Somebody said he was gonna use it to make a driveway to get to his back lot back there, but I don't know, I'm not. But I know I looked the other day and he go, and I don't care, but he's already moved way back in that field. Back behind the building, he's cleaned out a lot of space, and he's got a lot of equipment back there.
I went back and I tried to find, you remember years ago when we talked about that down there? And why we left it like it was, like it is, that I could not find for the life of me. There's something, the reason we chose to leave his like we did.
You talking about
I'm talking about Marshall's now. I'm moving from one place to another. But I had that on my mind.
what, down here?
Yeah, I'm turning around down here, yeah.
So I know at one time it was industrial when it was Bass Gas Oil Company, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we changed it.
We changed it, and I don't remember if it was the reason we changed it to what we did.
Because it was just a
I
store
just
there,
can't find nothing now.
you know, because they sold out, and they didn't have the gas business or the tire house there anymore.
Right.
I wonder if we changed it to commercial because it was just a store selling gas.
I don't know. But when he talked about getting that and doing what he was gonna do, something came up, and I can't remember what it was, but we had a long discussion. I don't know why I can't remember that.
Yeah, I'll have to,
There was something that was real important that we made the decision that we did, because it took us a while
yeah.
to mull over and go over why. And I just can't figure it out. And I try to find my stuff, and I don't know. It just can't. Bothers me when I get to places like that one, and it was somewhere else we talked about the same thing.
I do have a question I'd like to ask Adam Tyson. You know, up here at the road where the store used to be. Should we leave that commercial and then that back part, should that be light industrial because he's storing, but I don't know if you can. I mean, you got two, I mean, it's different property there.
Mhm.
I mean, he owns both of it, but
Mm-hmm.
I guess that I need to, we'll ask Adam Tyson that question. Do you have, because nobody knows whether he'll ever build an office there. Like, I don't know, you know, if his business grows and,
Well, I mean, if he wants to do that, he'll have to pull a permit, and then we'd have to look at the.
yeah, I mean, we'd have to, you had to go through,
Yeah.
you know, I'm just talking out loud. I mean, you don't know, you know, if his business grows to where he wants to put an office there. Let's do an action item and let me talk to Adam Tyson again.
So I mean, I have from the previous the previous notes that we were trying to discuss whether we should change industrial district to light industrial. I mean, what was the reason behind it? I'm not sure that our current properties even fit the description of light industrial. Like, I don't know that we need to make that change.
It's something you read a while ago, and I can't comprehend what I read, but as you're reading it, it gets in my brain. But you read something a while ago about light industrial.
Okay, so, well here, let me just read what the county's got, and first I'll read what we got again, and then I'll read the other ones. So for what we have now is just straight up industrial district. The I industrial district is intended to accommodate those light industrial, wholesale, warehouse, and other uses that by their nature have little or no adverse impact on adjoining properties and surrounding areas, especially when sufficient landscape buffering is provided. These uses will minimize outside storage. So that's ours. All right, county has for light industrial, it says the LI Light Industrial District is primarily intended to accommodate limited manufacturing, warehousing, wholesaling, and related commercial and service activities which have little or no adverse impact on adjoining properties, which pretty much sounds like it's word for word
Yeah.
about, we got a few little added things. Let's look at the town of Nashville. Their L1 industrial district is defined as certain lands so situated as to be suitable for industrial development, usually along railroad sidings or major thoroughfares, but where certain operations could adversely affect nearby properties. The purpose of this district is to permit the normal operations of almost all industries, excepting those that would be detrimental to adjoining properties excluded from this this district are those industries which are noxious by their emission of smoke, dust, fumes, glare, noise, and vibrations, and those industries which deal primarily in hazardous products such as explosives. Selected business uses are also appropriate in this district. So there's got a lot. That's what I call heavy industrial.
Well, yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. It sounds like all of these have the same thing in common. If the lot has a detrimental effect to neighboring lots, it is not light industrial. Like if it has no detrimental effect to the neighboring lots, that is what all of these consider light industrial.
Right.
That's kind of the point I was trying to say. I don't think we need to just change what we've got to light industrial, because the properties that are all zoned that way, in my opinion, do have a detrimental effect on. I wouldn't want to build a house next to a propane lot. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't consider that to be light industrial. So if we're gonna add a light industrial,
Maybe we need to hire.
then it would have like the ones that are already zoned industrial need to stay that way, and then whatever we add as light industrial, I don't know that we would even have anything in that zone, but like that may be something to talk about.
So you're saying keep what we got. You saying add like a heavy industrial?
I mean, what I'm saying is the ones that are zoned industrial right now, the description does not match.
Light industrial.
Yeah, the description, like, if I read through our zone, our ordinance right now, it says their industrial district, the properties have little or no adverse impact on adjoining properties. The ones that we've got that are zoned industrial, I think do have an adverse effect. So that's where, in my opinion, the mismatch is. Like, if we're gonna like create a light industrial and then just keep a, what do they call it, general industrial or just industrial, then maybe we move the existing ones into the general industrial, whatever,
Right.
and then have a light industrial where people can, like build maybe that's something that the asphalt guy, because I don't think his does have a detrimental impact on neighboring properties, because it's all in the woods. Like, right, build a house next to that, it wouldn't bother me.
Except for getting up 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Them trucks come zooming out.
Yeah, but I mean, do you see my point? Like,
I mean, I was just kidding with you about that, but
I mean, there are industries that would have no impact on neighboring properties, but I think the ones that are currently zoned industrial do have an impact on neighboring properties.
Yeah.
So I don't know the best way to resolve that. If it's to add a whole nother district and then not have any lots even in that district, or to just change the description of what we got.
Let me have further discussion with advertising.
I mean, they have, the county has that, the county has it laid out perfectly, in my opinion. They have light industrial, and under light industrial, it says, which have little or no adverse impact on adjoining properties. That's their description of light industrial. And then general industrial says nothing about adjoining properties.
Right.
It always says, which may require special measures to ensure compatibility with adjoining properties. But it has no words in there about like, doesn't affect, it says like you may need to make it compatible with other properties. But I mean, so I don't know if that's something we wanna.
That was part of the question was we had Marshall listed as commercial, but Marshall doesn't really fit in a commercial slot, if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, if we wanted to do anything, we could just change our current language for industrial district and just remove the part about it having no adverse effect on adjoining properties. I think that would be the easiest thing to do, because that's what we have now. We have lots that do have an impact on adjoining properties.
Almost done with my notes. Alright. Let's. Alright, so we got some homework to do on that. But we're gonna talk about the shipping containers that Nashville, they didn't finalize what they were planning to do, so we don't have an example of review. So we will move.
We had also talked about removing R3.
Yeah, I think we agreed to remove R3.
I was just looking at my notes in Morgan's.
Yeah, we made a note. We noted last time to remove R3.
Okay.
Alright.
We're just gonna table the storage container
Yeah, we're
discussion for
We're
next
gonna
time?
table the storage tank containers until we have an example.
Probably be in May. Before we
Um,
have an example.
was one other thing that we discussed. We talked about. It's one of the things brought up on. This list here. So on the list of items that we gave Joshua Hollis when we first were starting this process, one of them was listed on there about removing automobile repair services, automobile towing services, boat repair, building supply sales. So let's start out and we'll look at ordinance 3105. We can have a discussion about.
Was this a proposed removal from Josh or from?
No, I don't know who this. I don't
This was a
know.
list that was what everybody gave me.
Yeah, it
We
was
started the whole thing and I just typed them all out together
yeah. So
and sent
that
it to him.
that's where it come from. Look at Nash County's. So I mean, we don't have this. We only have select commercial districts. That's where it would be allowed. I just googled the county to see what they have in their ordinance. It says Nash County does not explicitly allow automobile repair services as indicated in the zoning ordinances. However, it is possible that automobile repair services may be permitted with a special use permit that comply with the zoning regulations for specific details. That's the county. So, I know that, we were going through all this. I mean, I know that there's a lot of things that we have in this, like, related to, I know the one that was, we talked about a lot was, and I think that's on this list right here. 3140 adult and sexually oriented businesses. And I remember we talked about that a lot, and it's by right, there, by legal standards, you can't deny it. So we put it in there. The reason we put it in there was so we would designate it in an industrial area. We were allowing it, but we put it in a specific area. That way, they couldn't come up and say, hey, you're not allowing this. So I know we don't have an automobile repair services. Does anyone think we need to keep it or get rid of it?
So, just going back to what you're saying about Nash County, so if we remove it, do we have similar language? Like if we remove it, that doesn't necessarily mean somebody couldn't still operate a repair service, they would just have to
They would
apply
have
for a permit.
to, they would have to come, apply for their permit, and it would go through a technical review to see if it would be allowed. So, if you have it in your ordinance and somebody comes up and says, hey, I wanna rent this commercial property and I'm gonna fix cars, we already have it in our ordinance, we already have it defined. We already have some development standards where they gotta have the 6 foot opaque fence, no outdoor disassembly. So we've got everything spelled out on how to handle it if somebody comes and asks for a permit.
So why would we remove it?
I don't see why we would.
I don't either.
I'm just.
It seems like we have more control. I shouldn't say control, that's a bad word. It seems like we are able to better ensure the lovely condition of our community by having it in there. Whereas if we don't have it in there, who knows what could happen.
You could open the door up.
Yeah.
And then at the time when they requested, then you got to start coming up with development standards right then. So.
We probably just revert back to what was in the ordinance anyway.
Right. So, I'm in agreement that we keep it. I'm in agreement that we keep the automobile repair. The next one was the towing.
I remember it's in that form that you're talking about. The reason it was suggested to be removed is because there was nowhere for it to be permitted. Like no C district even exists for it to go in.
Right.
So we need to.
Currently.
So if we don't remove it, we need to change where required. It doesn't need to say C district. It needs to say rural commercial district, right, or something like that, right? I think that was the issue. Is it's saying you can have an automobile repair service, but it has to go in the C district that does not exist.
So it would be the C business district. Whatever we end up.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, exactly. That was the change. Either remove it or change the district that it can go in.
So a lot of these, like automobile towing, it's the same thing. We're required C district. So once we hammer out what we're going to call our commercial district,
It's gonna change everything. I mean, like almost every section.
yeah,
Like there's R3s all over the place.
we'll have to go.
It's nothing special to.
There's C and CE,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
we would have to fix that. So I think what we need to do is hammer out the commercial name, district name, and then come back and,
Yeah, almost every one of these action items, the suggested revisions, Excel document, the reason is because there's no district for it to be permitted.
Well, it's just like the caretaker dwelling. That's
Well, I don't know why it's-
ICCE in the industry district.
yeah, I don't know why that was in
I mean,
commercial.
I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean,
So I know we had a lot of discussion about that, Colleen, about, I guess when we think about caretaker dwelling, I mean, I know you got experience in that, because you had, you know, you got that single wide. I think that section kind of applies that if somebody needed to put a single wide trailer in their backyard because their parent was sick and needed to live close to them, I think that's the conversation we had related to that.
Mm-hmm.
But we do need to adjust the districts. I want to make a note here.
Would you even have to put a district in there?
If we wanna control where people are allowed to put it, otherwise they can just change their residence. They can like start a caregiver dwelling in the residence,
So,
right?
I think we need to, it doesn't need to be,
I mean, it has other stipulations for the caregiver dwelling.
well, I mean, why would you have it in the O and E, the C and the C?
That's right, yeah, I mean, you
it
put
really
it
would be a
anywhere that somebody would
It'd be a
want.
residential district, I feel like,
Yeah,
It's got over here, no more than one caretaker dwelling unit shall be permitted per lot. The caretaker dwelling may be a modular home. The caretaker dwelling shall have an approved sewage disposal connection setbacks applicable in accordance with building code.
I don't even know why we have number 4 in non-residential districts where there are no minimum lot area requirements for
I don't either.
single-family dwelling, minimum of 10,000 square feet required for a caretaker dwelling. I'll make a note. And I gotta call Joshua Hollis about some other stuff. I'll ask him about the caretaker dwelling, and I'm gonna call Adam Tyson and talk with him.
yeah, I mean, like the first, it looks like the first item, first issue that does not depend on us finalizing the districts is the carnivals, festivals, and fairs, that's page 28. Like all the rest of them, I think, we'll have to like really nail down the changes to the district and all that, and before we can really make any changes there, but the carnivals, fairs, and
What page is that on?
28,
27 and 28.
yeah. And that,
Carnivals, festivals, and fairs is on 27, and the club, civic, social, you added Woodford in there, is on 31.15.
Yeah, but I want to do some more. I mean, I added that in there, but I need to really do some more digging into that to make sure that that is the where how it should be.
I think civic should cover Wood.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that's
yeah,
one and
because
the same, really.
you've got, trying to think of some of the other civic organizations that have.
Yeah, and I
The
don't know
Shriners.
that you
Shriners,
have
yeah,
to
the,
specifically spell out Rueton, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, there's other things just like Rueton. So if you put Rueton in there, you would have to just about put the other ones in there too.
Right.
My thinking.
yeah, I think
yeah, I like
you're right.
civic organizations. I like that.
let me back up to this, carnivals, fairs, let me read what the deal was at. Ordinance 3112. Carnivals, festivals, and fairs, temporary outdoor, define temporary outdoor event in definitions. Alright. Let's go. I don't know what the definitions are in the back. There's a lot of definitions. So we don't have a temporary, well, we do have a temporary event.
Yeah, it's back to page 177.
We don't have a temporary outdoor event. Alright,
Maybe that would be a good spot to include as an example, chicken plate sale or something like that. Fundraiser.
No, Colleen was very specific. They're not to be included in carnivals, festivals, and fairs.
but they're not.
Well, no, in the description of a
Right, I'm
temporary.
just saying,
of a
we
temporary-
can't include it.
Well, the
I know you're not, but I was just telling him we can't include him in that one because you were very specific about
Yeah.
that.
Well, no, I'm saying in the definition
I
of a
won't
temporary
be
event.
because I was just being honest.
Well, that would be just like that thing we had over there in the parking lot.
Well, we got a permit for that. It was under carnivals, festivals, and fairs.
What are you talking, which event?
Community day is what she's
Community
talking
day.
Yeah, the
about.
community day, whatever.
I mean, I've already issued several permits to Touch for Father's Love because they've had several things that they came and got their permits for under that heading. I mean, I do think Ruleton's would be better under club civics and
Yeah.
socials.
And that's what it is a civic.
Yeah, like the Masonics or whatever.
See what they got. Defined as an event held outdoors that lasts for a limited time, typically not exceeding 4 consecutive days. Is open to the public. I'll check and see. Let's see what our next community.
Of course, it just made me think about the time now to what it was when we made it the first time. We didn't have to worry about living for somebody might shoot you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole lot different when we first made it.
Let's see. Well, it's not coming up. Alright, well, I'll get a do some digging and we'll come up with a, definition and we can review it next meeting. Alright. Alright, let's see what else. Add new orders to incompetence that move our chicken sales. It's not a festival of palms and fairs. And there's something here, it says new ordinance, make sure traffic issue is covered, so they want to see is covered for obstruction of traffic. Now I know, I talked to somebody that y'all had already talked with the DOT, right? Well, you actually had the sheriff's department, right?
Mhm.
And they were coming at one time, but then
They only come when the traffic stays so much out here on the road. They won't come in direct traffic as long as we keep it kind of flowing.
Okay,
And if it stops for a little bit, they will still won't come.
okay.
They say they have to wait till it gets to a certain point before they'll come out.
Alright, well,
And the highway patrol has been and directed it, but it's gotten less because they're so stretched now, there's no way we could get them to come.
alright. Alright, let's see I don't know what time we got, let's see what time it is.
8:13.
Alright, let's see what other business we had. This was pretty much it. Let me see if there's anything else we can kind of discuss. I had pulled some information, but I didn't get it all together related to, there was something in here, I think somebody had about golf carts. Is there something in this list about golf carts?
We discussed it wasn't included in the ordinance, I think.
I did do some digging, I think I got it with me here. I can touch on that. Because we have a 45-mile-an-hour zone, a speed limit zone, most golf carts aren't gonna go like 20 miles an hour. What I read in the general statute, let's see if I can find it. Oh yeah, here we go. Operation of a low-speed vehicle, mini truck, or modified utility vehicle on certain roadways. Here's what the general statute says. The operation of a low-speed vehicle, mini truck, modified utility vehicle is authorized with the following restrictions. A low-speed vehicle may be operated only on streets and highways where the posted speed limit is 35 miles per hour or less. A mini truck or modified utility vehicle may operate only on streets and highways where the posted speed limit is 55 miles per hour or less. This subdivision does not prohibit a low-speed vehicle, mini truck, or modified utility vehicle from crossing a road or street at an intersection where the road or street being crossed has a posted speed limit of more than 35 miles per hour. A low-speed vehicle or mini truck shall be equipped with headlamps, stop lamps, turn signal lamps, tail lamps, reflectors, parking brakes, rear view mirrors, windshields, windshield wipers, speedometer, seat belts, and a vehicle identification number. Any such required vehicle shall be maintained in proper working order.
What is one like Jordan's got, cause there's several of them around.
That would be fine. Hers is street legal.
Yeah,
Hers-
hers,
The
Yeah,
ones
hers is,
the ones that are not street legal would not be permitted according to that because they would not have blinkers.
well, I was listening, well, yeah,
Well, it
blinkers
was
and
talking
windshield
about the speed
wipers.
limits too,
But
though.
the one she's
Yeah.
got is street legal, but it don't have windshield wipers.
Hers does.
It does?
there's it references another, let me see where I saw it.
That was going by what he was saying about speed limits.
Yeah.
But it says right here, a low-speed vehicle, mini truck, or modified utility vehicle shall be registered and insured in accordance with General Statute 20-50 and General Statute 20-309. A golf cart, most golf carts, they're gonna go maybe 20 miles an hour. There may be some that have lights on it, but they don't.
Well, how about the ones in Spring Hope? Now, they go all over town and they don't all have lights.
Do they have a license plate? 'Cause
There's 13
I don't-
others.
Those
I
are
don't
various,
I don't understand
They're
how
right, straight
they're
ahead.
allowed to do that.
I don't know, but
Based on this
I
general
honestly
statement.
have been in Food Line parking lots when I have met a golf cart with no lights.
But it's saying that they could drive,
I was trying to listen to all he
I
said.
thought it was
if it
saying they
was
could drive,
35 miles an hour or below.
but I thought it
Well-
said as long as you meet these requirements.
That's what
Isn't that what it
I was missing the requirements.
Well,
He
here we
did
go.
read some requirements.
What
so I
did
missed
you
it.
send us that?
No, I didn't.
Okay. What is it? If you don't mind, I like it.
It's General Statute 20-121.1.
Gotcha. Thanks. Okay. Gotcha.
So I'm
Yeah.
But
It's
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 saying
pretty
that-
lax with theirs though. I mean, they got from one like mine.
Yeah, it says, is authorized with the following restrictions. And then one of the restrictions is it shall be equipped, shall means has to be
Yeah,
equipped with headlights, stop lamps, turn signals. So like
up to what speed limit?
that the speed limit is one of the restrictions.
Right. But what, it's two different speed limits. Did
Well,
you read off two different
yeah,
speed
it
limits?
says
One
a-
was 35 and one was something.
But that's
about-
only one of the restrictions. But then when you get down to the bottom, another one of the restrictions is that you have to have headlights and taillights.
Yeah.
So like you have to meet all those restrictions.
plus it's got to be registered and insured.
Yeah.
So I mean,
That's what I was getting, but I know he read something about 45
Well,
miles an hour,
yeah.
55 miles an hour, it couldn't do something.
it says a low-speed vehicle may be operated only on streets and highways where the posted speed limit is 35 miles per hour or less. A mini truck, modified utility vehicle, may be operated only on streets and highways where the posted speed limit is 55 miles per hour or less. So when we talk about mini truck, that's one little small, and then you got your side-by-side, which is the utility.
Yeah, so it says the low speed can do 35, low speed vehicle can do 35, and the mini truck or UTV can do 55. But then the next restriction is that the low speed vehicle has to have headlights, stop lamps, turn signals, blah, blah, blah.
I love either one, they've got to have headlights,
Yes.
got light turn
And
signals.
then the next section says the modified UTV has to have headlights, stop, and it has a whole lot of other stuff. Must be identified, have a VIN number. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they all have to be registered, no matter
Right.
what speed limit it
Gotcha.
is.
So just thinking safety-wise, we got a 45 zone. We all know people go faster than 45 through here. Just thinking about a golf cart that's going to get on the road. I just
What you were reading, it wouldn't be allowed.
right.
Yeah,
It wouldn't
that's
be allowed. It wouldn't be
They would have
based
been
on
driving a
this.
golf cart.
It wouldn't. It's not allowed.
You can cross the road, you just can't drive.
Right.
Yeah,
You can cross the road. So, and I think we're at a,
But the other thing, like what Jordan's got and what the Hit Boys got,
yeah, they
that would
have
be considered a.
utility vehicle.
Yeah, but but they have met all the
Right,
other
but that's what I'm
requirements.
saying,
Yeah,
so
that's
that's,
right.
I'm just
It's
clarifying.
a modified
clarifying,
utility.
right, I'm
Yeah.
clarifying the two, I'm just clarifying in my head.
Yes, I mean, so basically, as long as the state gives them a license plate,
And they
then
meet all the
then they're good.
standards.
But if you don't have a license plate,
But I
you're not good.
did read somewhere else in the general statutes. It's got to be like when Jordan bought it, she had all that stuff put on for where she bought it. It has to.
Mhm.
There's some verbiage and language in there that
The manufacturer has
Yeah, it
to put
has
it on
to-
there.
yeah, authorized
Deal with it.
location has to put that on there. All right, let's look at when we're gonna have our next meeting. That would be April 28th. And is that date work for everybody here? And does 6:30 work good?
Okay, so I missed my son's baseball game today because of this meeting. He plays every Tuesday and Thursday, so I would really prefer not to miss another one,
Okay.
especially since I'm one of the coaches.
Okay. Then let's do this because we got some members that are not here. Let me send out an email, Sheila, to everybody and see if they're okay with Monday night
The
work.
Monday the 27th would be great, but
Okay.
like the day before.
All right. Is everybody that's here? Are y'all good with the 27th at 6:30?
You said 6:30 again?
Yeah, 6:30 work for everybody. Or is that too early? Okay. I kind of like the 6:30, and then we can kind of wrap it up by 8:30, and that, we put a good 2 hours in and go home. I don't stay up as late as I used to. All right.
Thank y'all for being
Yeah.
flexible.
Yeah.
He got a triple, and I had an RBI, but he sent me like 5 different videos, but I haven't watched it yet.
That's cool. That's awesome. Soak it up, and it goes by fast.
Yeah, if you grow up fast and enjoy them now.
So, Sheila, you don't have any new business for us, do you? Okay. All right, well, at this time, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
I have a second.
Second.
Got a second. All those in favor by saying aye. Anyone opposed? There are none. All right, everybody.